Hey guys, welcome back. It is Michael from Hallowed Thrills back with another video, and today we are back again with the East Coasters podcast. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these, and once again we have Connor from ConnerFL with us.
Hello.
And today we will be talking about coasters, of course.
Wow, hard to
Coasters,
believe.
I know, hard to believe, East Coasters pod, but we will be talking about new coasters that will be opening up in the United States in 2023. Now, there are a few coasters that are opening internationally, but we won't be talking about those just because it's going to be a while until we either of us probably get out there to go
Realistically,
on any of them.
yeah.
But so that's why we're just going to be covering only coasters in the United States, and there are a lot of them that are supposed to be opening in 2023. Let's see, how many do we have on my list here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16
That we have
16 confirmed. Opening in 2023 coasters.
We might have even missed one. I don't
Yeah,
even know.
honestly, we probably did miss some. And if you notice at all throughout the video that we missed any of them, I'm sure you'll probably let us know in the comments. But let's I mean, do you have anything to add before we start?
No, I'm excited for a year of riding coasters. We were talking before we started. We got some fun trips planned, both of us.
Yes.
So it'll be fun, and some of them that are on this list will hopefully be riding this year. Some will definitely be riding. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, before we actually get to that, please make sure that you are subscribed, have the notifications turned on, all that jazz. Follow both me and Connor over on our Instagrams, Twitters, all that jazz. Where can they find you, Connor?
That's a good question. I think because my social medias are different. I think it's Connor W82 on Instagram and Connor_W82 on Twitter. Had to have an underscore for whatever reason. But
And as always, you guys know, Hallowed Thrills across the board for me. The links for those are going to be down in the description along with Connor's links as well. But yeah, now let's get underway with our big list of coasters. We're going to start off with an easy one that's been talked about and announced for many years. I think since 2017 was it?
Oh boy.
That it started being talked about and announced and worked on, and that would be all the way down in the sunny state of Florida at Walt Disney World in Orlando, the Tron LightCycle Run coaster, a Vekoma motorbike roller coaster. Are you excited, or has kind of the whole thoughts and everything about this coaster and excitement about it kind of died down since it's taken so long?
I would say it has died down a little bit. I've also, since that got announced, when it first got announced, I was real into Disney. I had an annual pass. I was going a lot. And since then, I've kind of fallen out of favor with Disney. But that being said, I still think this has a good shot at being the best Disney coaster here in Florida. I have been on Guardians, and it's pretty good. And I still think Everest is my favorite Disney coaster, but I think this could top it. It's got some good stats. I think it gets up to 60 miles an hour, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think something like that. Which
is solid. Obviously, you can't expect anything too crazy at a Disney park, but and we've all seen the POV because this is a clone from, is it Shanghai?
Yeah,
it's one of the Asian Disney parks. I don't remember which one, but I think it's Shanghai. So you kind of have an idea of what you're getting into. I will be able to ride this year, thankfully. I don't have a pass anymore, but I'll be able to get comped in, so it works for me. I'll get to experience it, so I'm excited for a new ride, and I don't even know if I fully believe that it's even going to open, but we'll see.
I mean, yeah, I say that all of these have officially been confirmed, but has Disney actually said that Tron has like an opening date, or did they just say 2023 like they said 2022 last year?
I want to say they specified that it was spring, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That could just be an assumption. But the thing is the ride's like done.
Yeah.
Because I've seen videos of like execs like riding it and stuff, so it's got to be done.
My whole thing is though, like you said, it's a clone.
Yeah.
What the hell took so long?
I don't know. Like
you would think that it would take less time since you're doing it the second time around.
Well, like, look what Universal has done in the time that they've taken to build Tron, you know?
They've almost built an entire theme park.
Almost built an entire theme park. Plus, like, they knocked down Dueling Dragons and built Hagrid's all the way from the ground up. And they built Velocicoaster all the way from the ground up. And then even, like, you look at SeaWorld, Icebreaker, Pipeline is, like, really far along. That thing has gone up, like, in a flash.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney's over here taking 6 or 7 years to put a clone in Magic Kingdom. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. But I mean, personally though, for me, I mean, I hope that I get to ride it this year. I'm sure I will. Fingers crossed that I end up moving down to Florida this year. That's the plan. But yeah, so hopefully I end up getting on Tron this year. I know I've said time and time again, I will not go back to Disney until both Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy are open. So unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna start having to eat my words. So I'm probably gonna have to take a trip out there and give them my money again. Unfortunately, I don't like it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And then you can hold off again for another 7 or 8 years while you wait for the next new thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know, man. The Moana Way of Water, man, looks like the next big thing.
Yeah, you got to buy a ticket just for that.
Exactly.
Disney.
Right. Well, speaking of coasters that took forever to open, let's move on to our next coaster. This is Aquaman Powerwave at Six Flags over Texas. It is a Mock Rides Power Splash. And this coaster has taken far too long for it to open. It was supposed to open in 2020. And then they were like, oh, no. COVID's over. It's going to open in 2021. And then there were technical issues. And then they're like, it's going to open in 2022. And then it didn't. And now here we are in 2023. And they're like, it's finally going to open. We've been testing it. It's going to happen this year. And the same thing with Tron. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. You know, this is one that I won't be getting on this year, but I'm not really like itching to get on it. Like it doesn't look that great. I mean, it looks all right, I guess, for what it is. It takes up very little space. And it's very clearly not trying to be anything crazy, but I don't know. Where do you land on this one?
I mean, if depending on how my plans go this summer, Texas is one of those ones that I'm planning on hopefully getting out to this year. The whole 3/4 parks out there. So Six Flags over Texas would definitely be one of them. So I think Aquaman Powerwave would have to be something I would have to go on just because of the credit. But
yep.
Am I excited for it? Not really, because it's not really. It's a coaster.
Yeah,
it's a coaster. It's about as much of a coaster as Journey to Atlantis is.
Yeah,
and I consider that a coaster.
Even like less if you think about it, because like, you know, Journey to Atlantis has the drop, and then that, if we're talking about the Orlando one, I assume, like,
yeah,
the indoor dark section is like coastery.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like, it's like a flat ride almost, like,
yeah,
but it's technically a coaster because of like the laws that make things a coaster with like the track and the gravity and all that stuff. But like it feels like a flat ride.
It feels like a big freaking like a splash boat ride.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like to me.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, but it's technically considered a coaster, so it's on this list, and clearly it doesn't sound like either of us are really excited for it.
Yeah, there's other things on the list that are a little more intriguing.
Yeah. Speaking about things that are intriguing, though, it really just, these things just write themselves up. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah, the transitions are just...
These transitions are immaculate right now. Let's talk about Big Bear Mountain Coaster at Dollywood. Dollywood has been kicking it up a notch with their coasters in the last couple years. Big Bear Mountain is the next up on their list, and it's adding to and expanding their massive like kid area that they have there.
Yeah.
This is a Vekoma family launch coaster that has, I think, just about 4,000 feet of track, or just under 4,000 feet of track.
Yeah, right around that.
It goes completely like encompassing their entire kid area. It's a big coaster.
Yeah, it doesn't look, based on what we've seen, like it's going to be particularly forceful or anything like that.
No.
But it looks like it'll be a nice, like, well-themed ride, nice and long, like you said. You'll probably get a lot of cool views of the park. You'll probably get a good, like, sense of speed when you're on it. You know, like, I think of a ride like Hagrid's where you're not going that fast, but it kind of feels like you're going fast in certain parts. So I'm hoping we have something like that on this. This is a coaster I'm hoping to be able to get to this year. It's like a loose plan, but I'm hoping to do it. Is Dollywood trying to become like the king of family coasters? Because like Dragonflyer is considered a very strong family coaster from all accounts that I've heard. You also have Fire Chaser Express, which looks really fun. And now you have Big Bear Mountain.
I don't know, man. I think they're just trying to tailor to the kids.
Yeah.
Just Dolly, she just likes to make sure that the kids have a place to have fun. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like a good, like, it's a park where, like, if you're bringing a kid regularly and you live in that area, there's a really good, like, step ladder of coasters for them to, like, work their way up to something like Lightning Rod or Wild Eagle. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, especially a park like Dollywood that's, you know, it's not like a park that's just trying to attract coaster people like Cedar Point or something. They're trying to appeal to families. So,
yeah. And honestly, I hope I can get out there eventually. I don't think this year is going to be the year. But it does. It just looks like a nice kind of relaxing coaster through the wilderness.
Yeah. Yep. Adds a good bit of variety. They have a lot of variety already, and it's just another thing.
Yeah.
So,
and
there you go.
And if you're going to Dollywood though, like my parents said, because they went there, you got to get that cinnamon bread.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You got to get the cinnamon bread.
If I make it out to Dollywood this year, I'm 100% not missing the cinnamon bread. You can't do it. It's not a trip to Dollywood without it.
All right, so let's move on to our next two coasters. I say two because these are both supposed to be opening up at the same place, at the same park. That I believe this is its opening year for the whole park in general. And that is Bone Shaker and Hot Wheels at Mattel Adventure Park in Glendale, Arizona. These are two separate coasters. So there's Bone Shaker and there is Hot Wheels. Bone Shaker is a family coaster by Chance Rides, and then Hot Wheels is a Hyper GTX coaster by Chance Rides as well. And for those who don't know what a Hyper GTX coaster is, Connor, can you give them an example?
Yeah, so I believe Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom is this model. Not a ride I've been on myself, but a ride that a lot of people really love. They swear by its airtime. It looks like a fun ride. So if this coaster is going to be anything like that, then it's definitely one that people should have on their radar. Also nice because I don't really think there is a major theme park in Arizona that I can think of at the moment.
No, I don't think so. I think the closest one to them would probably be SeaWorld San Diego.
Yeah, so it's a nice market for that industry to tap into. And I think the overall theme of the park is very interesting. Like Mattel, like doing a theme park like Hot Wheels and stuff. It's kind of interesting. So it's definitely a park that I won't hit this year, but it'll be on my radar in the future.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the Nickelodeon Universe parks.
Yeah.
In the both the Mall of America and the American Dream Mall.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like you said it about Hot Wheels. That Hyper GTX is going to be something that you definitely are gonna want to keep on your radar if it's anything like Lightning Run. Honestly, as far as the other one goes, Bone Shaker, I don't know much about the coaster. I mean, it's a family coaster. If I get out there, I'll ride it, but other than that, it's not really something that you're gonna go there for.
Yeah,
like go out of your way to go there for. I mean, let's just move right on to our next one. Another I guess racing / car themed amusement park is getting a new coaster this year. And that is going to be Circuit Breaker at Codaland in Where in Texas? It's somewhere in Texas.
I'll Google it right now.
Codaland, Austin,
Austin,
Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Codaland. Coda is an acronym, isn't it?
It should be
Circuit of the Americas or something like that.
Yep, that's it.
Circuit of the Americas land.
There you go.
Codaland
doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, so Codaland just sounds a little bit easier. But Circuit Breaker is the first Vekoma tilt coaster in the Western Hemisphere. So the first on this side of the globe. And I'm super, super excited for this coaster. This is a coaster that you see all over Instagram as like one of those, oh, would you take the chance and go on this coaster? Like one of those clickbaity type videos on Instagram that you see from them for these coasters being over in Europe and Asia. And you're just like, absolutely. When are these coming over here? Well, seems like 2023 is finally our year to get one. And like I said, could not be more excited about this. I don't know how you feel about it though.
Yeah, it's such a cool idea. It's a gimmick that I think is very marketable, but also will be very fun and cool. I hope the layout. I haven't seen much in terms of like what the layout for this thing looks like outside of the tilt. So hopefully it has a cool little layout to go along with it. But obviously, I think it's gonna be kind of terrifying, in like the best way. Like,
yeah, I don't know which.
No, I'm very excited.
I don't know where you'd rather sit, front or back. I mean, if you're sitting over back, like you're looking over everybody, man.
Yeah, and you're gonna get the most tilt as well.
Oh my gosh,
so
yeah, that's gonna.
I'll sit in the back, but
that's gonna be like the longest, like. You know how when you go over the crest of a hill and it's like you get those butterfly feelings? That's how it's going to feel like, but for such a long period of time because you're just waiting for the track to completely tilt straight down.
And I think, as long as it's well received, I think this is a model we're going to see a lot more of.
This has Magic Mountain written all over it.
Yep, it does.
This is one of those gimmicky coasters that Magic Mountain would fucking throw in.
And I think that the reason for that is, like I said, it's such a marketable thing. Like, I think, obviously enthusiasts are going to be interested no matter what, but you look at someone in the general public, they see like a video of that. They're like, that's really unique. That's really cool. I think people are going to gravitate towards it. So I think if this is a success, and I do think it will be, we're going to definitely be seeing more of these in the coming decade or so. You're going to see more pop up.
Nah, I am interested though, because it's a brand new mechanism that is brand new mechanism to this area. I'm interested to see how hard it will be to maintain.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Because if it's constantly down, who knows if we'll even see any more of them or how long that coaster will last.
Yeah,
at that
that's
park.
A fair point.
But then again, it might leave that park and go to probably one of the lesser Cedar Fair parks where it will get left to rot.
There you go.
Because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Coasters leave and they go to shitty Cedar Fair parks like
Michigan's Adventure, baby.
Michigan's Adventure.
but yeah, I mean,
we can't even say California Adventure anymore, or Great America anymore.
Not for long. But yeah, no, it's cool because we just mentioned this before, but that's like Mattel plus Codaland. That's like two, not just new coasters, but new parks.
Yeah.
So that's very intriguing for sure.
And I hope to once again, same with Aquaman, since that's also in Texas. Same with Codaland and Circuit Breaker. If I can somehow go out of my way to go to Codaland, I will, just to be able to get on this coaster. Just to say, I went on the first Vekoma tilt coaster in the Western Hemisphere.
Circuit Breaker,
it opened.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, let's move on to our next one. These are two coasters that are in different parks, but are basically the same thing. And that would be DarKoaster Escape the Storm and Arctic Rescue. DarKoaster being at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and Arctic Rescue being at SeaWorld San Diego.
Yep.
These are both multi-launch straddle coasters. DarKoaster being the first all-indoor multi-launch straddle coaster, and both these are made by Intimate. That was a mouthful. A lot of information. But what do you think about them?
I mean, I guess kind of neutral. There is one of these in SeaWorld San Antonio already, and that is Wave Breaker, I want to say it's called.
Yeah, I
Wave Breaker,
so.
Wave Runner, Wave Breaker. I think it's Breaker.
Yeah, I think so.
And that one's kind of cool because most of it takes place over the water, so that's pretty cool. I wonder if SeaWorld Orlando will be getting one of these next year. It's because they're the only ones that, and Busch Gardens Tampa. But to be fair, SeaWorld Orlando does kind of need a family coaster, so there you go.
Hey, don't worry. B&M will come out with their own family coaster version of it.
Yep,
just
and
so they can throw
Orlando
it in SeaWorld Orlando.
Yeah, because it's B&M City over there. But I mean, it's cool. I think DarKoaster is probably just a little more interesting because it looks to be very heavily themed. So if you're gonna have like a family coaster like this, obviously the layout isn't something that's gonna pop off the page, but maybe the theming will take it to a different level, maybe. And this one's also cool because it's obviously a nod to their previous 3D attraction, the Curse of Dark Castle, which I did get to experience way back in 2009 when I went to that park. There's a lot of new stuff there since I went. So yeah, no, I think DarKoaster is a little more interesting out of the two, I would say.
I mean, regardless, I'm excited for both of them just because it's a coaster model. Seeing Wavebreaker, it's a coaster model that I've been wanting to try to go on. I mean, it's not as unique as it used to be with now having Hagrid's be kind of a similar style. Also being manufactured by Intamin, I believe.
Yeah.
Now I will say there is one thing that kind of is grinding my gears about it. Is that both of, like, all three of those, you have Arctic Rescue, DarKoaster, and Wavebreaker. All three of them are going to be using that exact same ride vehicle, just painted a different color.
Yeah.
You couldn't make a different themed one for DarKoaster. I mean, Arctic Rescue, it kind of still makes sense to have it look like a
jet ski.
A jet ski.
Yeah.
But DarKoaster, not at all with the theming. Come on, man. Come on, Intamin.
They could have even taken Arctic Rescue and it wouldn't have taken that much to turn them into snowmobiles. Yeah. It wouldn't have taken that much.
No.
That's a good point.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
I was looking at pictures of it. I'm like, are these seriously what they're going to look like? They're not changing it at all? All right. Well, we'll see. But
I'll also be interested to see how heavy on the theming DarKoaster goes. In terms of when you're I'm sure the queue and everything for sure, and the station. But I hope it's not just and I haven't really seen any details on this, so maybe they've said, but I hope it's not you're just in a dark room, like it is for Flight of Fear or something. I hope there's some.
I don't know, man. I have a feeling. I have a bad feeling because of the quick turnaround on it. On how much theming there's actually going to be. Yeah. I would love it if they just did full completely walls of just LCD screens with projections on them.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Just to continually have a moving forest setting or something along those lines, or moving castle walls. I don't know, anything to really theme it. But I have a bad feeling that with the amount of turnaround time on this and the quick turnaround time on this coaster being built and open, I don't know how much they're actually going to get done for theming.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see on that one.
Which is a shame. It really is.
Yeah.
But moving on, we're moving on to our next one, which is a little bit of a lesser known coaster. But it is a very interesting project just because of what it's partnered with. And that would be Flying Viking at Adventureland. Adventureland being in Iowa. And this is a Zamperla family coaster. Now, I said that it's interesting only because of really what it's partnered with, and that is because Adventureland is also opening a giant flume ride to a partner with this, and the name of it escapes me at this current moment. But it's basically this family coaster will be going over top of and intertwining with the actual track of this flume ride, and it's looks pretty cool in concept pictures. There's no actual current construction pictures that I have seen, at least. I'm sure they're probably out there. But I mean, it still looks like a pretty cool looking, decently themed family coaster. I mean, once again, it's a family coaster, so there's not much to be excited about.
Yeah, it's the year of the family coasters.
Yeah, honestly.
Especially if they're launched. Lots of launched ones.
Yeah, I mean, and it's out in Iowa. Will I ever get to this park? It's a very rare chance that I will get out there. I've been to Iowa once, and I don't think I'll ever go back. It's just kind of a boring area. But
it's a flyover state.
Yeah, it's a flyover / drive-through state. You don't really need to stop anywhere in there.
Yeah, the only way I could see myself going there is if I took like a really long road trip and I happen to be driving through and it's like less than an hour out of the way. Yeah, maybe. But it's definitely not a destination.
No, not yet. Maybe if they get something good. Maybe if they get something real good. Although, like I said, that flume ride does look pretty cool. That flume ride definitely looks like interesting, but I ain't going all the way out to Iowa just for a freaking flume ride.
No.
Maybe if they like made an exact copy of Dudley Do Rights, then I'll think about it. But like, I don't know, man. That's the best water ride out there. It's hard to beat.
Yeah, you're a fan of Dudley Do Rights?
Oh my gosh, it is the best water ride ever. and I'm gonna be honest, they can retheme Splash Mountain all they want. It ain't gonna beat Dudley Do Rights. It ain't gonna do it. That drop
My man just loves Dudley Do Rights.
The drop is unmatched.
It's good. You just get so soaked.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I was so upset when it was closed in October when I was down there.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to go on it. I went to Islands and I was like, I am so ready. And then I saw that it was still closed from the hurricane. I was like, pain.
Well, dang.
All right. Well, moving on. We got another family coaster and another Zamperla coaster. This is the Wild Mouse from Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. This is part of their new boardwalk expansion or boardwalk retheme at Cedar Point. Now, I was just there last year, so I don't know when the next time I'm going to get out there is to be able to ride this, but it is a Zamperla twister coaster, not your normal mock rides Wild Mouse that you're used to, but it's different. It's very different, and the concept pictures definitely do make it look interesting. I don't know what are your thoughts about it.
It looks very swoopy. You know, it definitely doesn't look like a Wild Mouse in anything other than the name. Overall, I think it's it's not the most like exciting coaster, and I think Cedar Point is kind of starting to get to that point where they're due for like another like substantial coaster, because Steel Vengeance was 2018, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe so.
So maybe I'm wrong on that, but that means the earliest you're going to get a big coaster at Cedar Point is 2024, and that's 6 years, which I feel like is a little bit long if you're Cedar Point. Mm-hmm. So maybe some might feel a little underwhelmed by this, but I think the area itself will be very nice as well, aside from just the Wild Mouse. I have not been to Cedar Point, but I watched a video on it and said like, yeah, that particular area of Cedar Point is kind of meh, and it was due for an upgrade, so there is that. Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of those ones that I'm kind of neutral on. I'm sure I'll go to Cedar Point. I don't think it'll be this year, but maybe next year, maybe. I would love to get out there because I really need to do Steel Vengeance, but this is one of those things I'll get on, but I think it's a good addition overall, but it doesn't like stir much excitement for most. Yeah.
I mean, it's different. It really is. I'm interested. I can't remember. Does it spin at all, or is it just your normal?
I haven't heard for certain, but in the concept art, the trains kind of look like spinning trains.
They kind of look like the primeval, like whirl type spinning trains, right?
Possibly, and that could be intriguing, because I went out to Knott's Berry Farm in October and I did Sierra Sidewinder.
Love Sierra Sidewinder.
I had a really good experience on it. I thought I wasn't gonna like it because I'm not really good with like spinning usually, but I guess the way my train was balanced, we didn't spin that much. We spun like just enough for it to be like enjoyable, but it didn't make me sick. And I thought it was a lot of fun. So if it's like that, then it's a pretty good addition for Cedar Point. And they don't have a spinning
No,
coaster that I can think of. So,
no.
you know, if it is spinning, I think that adds something to it for sure.
I mean, you can just ask Rob about my experience with Sierra Sidewinder. He'll tell you exactly what I will tell you now. That I was, for some reason, since the park was so dead, I was the only one in my car.
Oh God.
So you could clearly tell that it wasn't very balanced because you have
No.
one 200+ pound man sitting in a coaster for a kid, and and I just continually spun and spun and spun, and the entire time I'm just dying laughing and like making like the like the fake throw up noises, and I'm just hearing everybody else that's like in the other parts of the train just dying laughing. That
sounds good.
It was a fun experience, but I had to take a nice quick break after because I was like, oh.
So not to get too sidetracked, but when I went out there and I did Sierra Sidewinder, that was the longest wait of the day for me. The park was pretty dead. I did Ghost Rider first thing in the morning because obviously that does get a line no matter what the park looks like that day. But everything else I just walked right on for the most part. But I had to wait like 25 minutes for Sierra Sidewinder. They only were running one train and the ops were just kind of slow. I don't know. But I literally made it my last coaster of the like the last credit that I needed to get, because I'm like, just in case this thing like puts me out for the day, I'm gonna save it for last. So I did ride it in like the middle of the afternoon. But yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised. I'm like, that was way better than I expected. So maybe if Cedar Points is like that, then you know, that would be great. A great addition. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. Going off on what you said about there not being anything really substantial out in Cedar Point. Let's talk just about like the rumor mill side of things. Speaking of substantial things possibly coming to the park, what do you think about the Top Thrill Dragster reimagining? What do you? Well, let's speculate a bit here. Let's speculate, because I don't know if you've seen, but the entire station track and most of the track leading into and out of the station up the launch has been removed. Basically, the hill is the only thing that stands right now. What do you think they're planning?
I think the safest bet is the launch system is going to be completely different. Otherwise, I don't know if they would have completely gutted it like that. I could see them trying to go to LSMs maybe, something more reliable. I do worry that might take some of the bite away from the launch, but I don't know. Like, I have a lot of ideas, but what do I think is going to happen? I think it'll be pretty different. Do you think it's going to fully complete that circuit up the top hat still? Or do you think they're going to completely change it to where it's like almost like how a Skyrocket 2 comes back in the station and like launches the other way? And I don't know, because it's the way that it's been framed is makes it sounds like it's more than just like a retheme. You know, I
am thinking it, because here's the thing. Intamin apparently wants nothing to do with the coaster. Apparently they want nothing to do with it. So rumor mill is that there's another company that's coming in and with their own version.
I have heard that
of the LSM launch. Now it's what was the company? It's like literally a company that hasn't done a lot of.
It was like
launch coasters
or something weird. Yeah,
something weird like that. You're just like, you're telling me that a company who hasn't really proven themselves with this type of launch coaster style is going to reimagine one of the biggest launch coasters and tallest launch coasters in the world. I don't know how it's going to work, and I'm very interested to see where they go with it, and see if it ends up making a splash at Cedar Point in 2024.
I think another thing that I think what would have been perfect, I don't know if they're planning to do it, but I would love for them to have like that first launch because I mean that's kind of the problem area. Not only the system, but like the fact that a piece of the ride flew off and nearly killed somebody. Put that launch in a tunnel, you know. So that way, if a piece does fall off the train, it'll land in the tunnel, because it's like that viewing area for the launch. It's like you're like right next to the coaster.
Yeah.
Like you're like right there. So I could see them being very hesitant about keeping that the same. Whether they do away with that viewing area or maybe they add the tunnel, I don't know. But I would be kind of surprised if they don't do anything with that. And it also makes me wonder what's going to happen with Accelerator, because you kind of have the same problem. That launch system was completely taken out. So
yeah.
Wait, that's another thing. I don't know if we wrote it down, but MonteZOOma should be opening
Yes,
this year.
MonteZOOma does open this year. I completely forgot about that.
With like a whole new theme, and I think that launch system is changing as well. So
yeah, you know what? Let's skip what we were gonna do next, and let's talk about MonteZOOma's Revenge, or not MonteZOOma's Revenge. MonteZOOma, Temple of something or whatever.
Yeah, let's see.
What's it actually called? It's MonteZOOma.
The Forbidden Fortress.
The Forbidden Fortress. That's it. I knew it was like temple or fortress or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, this is one that I am super, super interested in.
Yeah.
Like, this is one that it definitely makes me be like, yeah, Knott's is definitely in my future this year.
Yeah.
Like, regardless, Knott's was in my future, but this makes me really want to go there because the randomized launch sequences, my ass could be sitting in that station thinking I'm going to go forward and get launched out of the station backwards. My soul would leave my body.
And the other great thing is, like, now that you and I have both been to Knott's, like, we can go and we can skip like Coast Rider because we've already done it. So you can just do MonteZOOma multiple times, try and get the different launches. That'd be kind of fun. I too am. It's very likely that I'll be back at Knott's this year. So this is definitely gonna be at the top of my list, unless Accelerator reopens this year. Then that's at the top of my list. But then MonteZOOma for sure.
Yeah. MonteZOOma is definitely, like, the retheming on it looks fantastic so far. Like, from concept images, the trains look amazing looking. Now, what are your thoughts on the addition of comfort collars on the trains?
You know, to be fair, I never rode it before, so I can't really speak for the restraints and how they were before. I actually don't really know what they were. But I have been on Tigris that has comfort collars, and for me personally, they're not that bad. Yeah,
exactly. So, I don't get people's hold up on comfort collars.
For me, I didn't have a problem with it. And then I want to say Flying Cobras at Carowinds had the comfort collars as well, right?
That has Vacoma's
vest.
That's Vacoma's vest restraint.
Okay. So that's the only boomerang I've been on, and I know that's the preferable boomerang restraint. But yeah, okay, so comfort collars on Tigris then. You know, it's a little weird, like, getting like into it. It's kind of awkward, but like it's not like an uncomfortable restraint for me. I don't mind it at all, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I'm not really. People were all had their panties all on a bunch about it when a lot
of people don't like.
They showed it, and I was like,
I don't mind that.
I've been on half a dozen coasters that have comfort collars, and I've not once gotten off and been like, oh, those restraints sucked.
Yeah, doesn't Icebreaker have them as well?
Icebreaker does.
So,
any premier ride has comfort collars at this point.
I will say with Icebreaker, and this didn't happen to me when I've done Tigris, but the first time I rode Icebreaker, I got stapled pretty bad and it hurt my thighs. But the second time I went on Icebreaker, which was quite recent, I want to say it was last month, I kind of like did that little trick where you push up a little bit throughout the ride, and it's actually pretty fun. Like, I boosted it up my rankings quite a bit, like, because you get some good airtime if you're not stapled.
Yeah.
So, but MonteZOOma is not really an airtime ride anyway, so I'm not worried about the comfort collars.
Yeah. Well, let's go back onto our list and continue
Yes.
talking about stuff instead of going off our list. But it was something that we completely forgot about when
Yeah,
making
and it's
this
pretty
list.
significant. So
It is a pretty significant
good.
improvement at a park that is already great that will
Yeah,
hopefully be getting
it's
even
a
better this year when they announced that B&M coming. What? I
and
didn't say anything.
and it's a good thing that we went off on a Knots tangent because that made me remember it.
Yeah.
So
So moving on to a returning coaster model. This is Pipeline at SeaWorld Orlando. This is the official return of the B&M stand-up coaster. Not as you all remember it as the four-seat row stand-up coaster, but this is now a 2x2 stand-up coaster. It looks like they really, really tried to make it better. It's no longer over the shoulder restraints. It's now a vest restraint system. They added a suspension system to it to try to take off that pressure of your nuts getting absolutely demolished. And my biggest thing with stand-up coasters were they were great, but the inversions gave you an absolute headbanging treatment.
mm-hmm.
And this coaster only has one inversion, so I might enjoy it a little bit more because of that. But B&M Capital of the World is just getting a little bit more B&M-y. What do
Yes,
you
they sure are.
think about it?
Well, this will probably be my first new credit of the year, I imagine. Unless I happen to go to Fun Spot and do Hurricane and Galaxy Spin before then. But they obviously aren't new coasters. Those would just be new credits. But before I start talking about Fun Spot, because we're going to talk about that later. I'm cautiously optimistic for Pipeline. Like you said, it is a stand-up, and I've only been on one stand-up. It was Vortex, and I did not enjoy it. It was very painful. I'll never forget coming around that corner and seeing the corkscrew up ahead and just thinking like, God, my life's in your hands right now. So just please don't kill me. But a lot of the issues I have with Vortex seem like they could be phased out on Pipeline. It'll obviously be a lot smoother just because it's way newer. So there is that helps. The vest restraints, of course, eliminates headbanging. So that helps. And then like you said, the way that the trains kind of bounce up and down, or the seats like bounce up and down instead of just being fixed in one spot. I think that could help alleviate pressure on like the nuts, as you said, but also like your legs. Because if you're not stood in like a good position on these coasters, currently you're in trouble. So I think they wouldn't have done it if they didn't feel confident that they've found a way to like fix a lot of the complaints about the stand-up model. So yeah, it's very unique. Obviously there's not a stand-up coaster in Florida, so there's that. I would say cautiously optimistic for me.
Now, what are your thoughts if this is a success about B&M possibly doing away with the floorless conversions and doing stand-up conversions to these new trains rather than your current model of trains on current stand-up models?
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's compatible with the track, why not? If it's way more comfortable.
I mean, at least it keeps the original integrity of the coaster as it was intended to be, and hopefully will be less painful.
I hope so.
Because I mean, Green Lantern has a great layout at Six Flags Great Adventure. It's just headbanging city, and I can't stand it.
When I went to Magic
literally
Mountain,
can't stand it.
Funny guy. No, when I went to Magic Mountain, Riddler's Revenge did not open that day. That's kind of the trade-off. If you go during the off season, you'll have much shorter lines, but there's also the probability of coasters being down because it's the off season, and that was one of them. So I didn't get to experience Riddler's Revenge, meaning the only one I've done is Vortex, which is not exactly a well-liked one. So the taste in my mouth about stand-ups is not good. But like I said, I want to be cautiously optimistic about this because it seems like they've tried to remedy a lot of the issues. And I just hope it's another fun coaster that I get to go on regularly. And I will say in the advertising, they're like, it has a couple moments of airtime or whatever. I'm like, how is that gonna work? So yeah,
We're gonna be flying.
yeah.
Gonna be flying.
I'm cautiously optimistic about the long term, how much I like it, but I'm very excited to try it. Like very excited to try it. So
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, now we're on to some of the meat and bones of our lineup here, and the more exciting coasters. Starting off with probably the coaster I am most excited for this year, and that I will cover probably the most out of any coaster this year. And that would be Wildcat's Revenge at Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. This is an RMC hybrid, and it is an RMC hybrid that is long overdue at this park, and it is replacing a coaster that was long overdue for a retrack/retheme. Now, Connor, what are your thoughts on this coaster?
I hope I get to ride it this year. If it opens with the park when the season starts, I probably will. And I mean, it looks incredible. It looks incredible. And man, you gotta, like, I'm not saying they're the best lineup, but Hershey Park has to be in the conversation now. You have a B&M hyper that everyone loves. B&M hypers. You have Sky Rush, which is Sky Rush. You have Fahrenheit and Storm Runner, which are two coasters that are really not like anything else. They're quite unique. And now you have what looks like a top tier RMC hybrid coming to the park. I mean, and that's not even considering a strong cast of supporting coasters like Great Bear, you know. So I think it's the perfect fit for a really good park, and it's super exciting. It looks so great, and those trains are gorgeous too.
Oh my gosh, yes, the three different trains of all personalized in their own way. I'm super excited for that. I will say there's one thing I have to say about it. I am a bit bummed that they didn't get 200 feet out of it.
I know, 200-foot coasters, that would have been.
I'm slightly upset they just didn't just give us at least like 201.
Yeah,
come on. No, but I believe that the issue was it just they would have had to extend the lift hill way further than the land constraints would have allowed, which is why it didn't happen. But I do enjoy the fact that they at least did give us more of a hill with the retheme. The longest what is it, underflip in the world?
I think so. Yeah,
it's really like a stretch for a record break, but
they don't even need to break any records. Like, it's an RMC hybrid, and it's gonna be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I will tease a little bit something if you guys have actually made it this far in this podcast. In February, I'm actually officially an American coaster enthusiast. I've joined ACE, and in February they're doing an East Coasters meetup at Hershey Park, and they'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff with a bunch of manufacturers, a bunch of giveaways, and one of those things for that weekend is a behind the scenes construction tour of Wildcat's Revenge. So hopefully I will be able to get videos and actually do a video for it. If not, I'll hopefully be able to at least get some videos and pictures and make a sit down video for you and show off a lot of up close personal construction of the coaster. And maybe, hopefully, I mean, it's February. I doubt that the coaster will actually, like, the track will be done by then to have them do testing, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. I mean, look at Pipeline. It's pretty much, it's done.
they finished the layout in like what felt like 3 days.
But Wildcat's Revenge, like I said, is going to be a coaster that I talk about constantly on this channel, and I will 100%, I'm almost guaranteeing that I will probably be out there for media when they do it prior to actually opening to the public.
Yeah, and like I said, I really hope this thing does open with the park in the spring. That would be so cool. I kind of was thinking it was going to be summer. If they do open it in the spring, I probably will get there. Basically, like, the way the traveling is going to work for me that weekend, it's going to have to be a choice between Hershey Park and Great Adventure. And I think if Wildcat's Revenge does open, it's got to be Hershey Park. Like, and I was talking to Michael here before the show, and I was like, I don't know though, because I'm a little worried about the future of El Toro. So it's like maybe I should just try and ride it while I still can. But it would be really hard to resist Wildcat's Revenge.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But let's move on to our next one. And this is another heavy hitting coaster and a first of its kind. Our next coaster up on our list is the Zambezi Zinger at Worlds of Fun in Missouri. This is the first ever GCI Titan Track hybrid coaster. It is a ground up hybrid coaster. It's not a retrack of anything, and it is, I think, one of the first ever coasters of this size with a twist lift hill.
Yeah, the like spiral lift hill. So bizarre. Yeah, very cool.
And it's like it's a wheel driven lift hill. It's not even it's so weird. Like I get it, GCI. You're trying to be different with your first ever hybrid model, but like it's a bit much. It's a bit much. But this does look like a very, very interesting coaster. But I will say a bit weird that this is where they decided to
Worlds of Fun. Do it. Good for them, but I'm sure the people Worlds of Fun is their home park. They must be over the moon about this.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I will say, as a Dorney Park fan, I'm a bit butthurt that they're getting.
Where's your shuttle coaster, bro? Where is it?
You see the Zambezi Zinger? Yeah, that's it. That's where the money went. Yeah, no. According to my insiders at Dorney Park, the funding for our coaster went to this.
Brutal.
But you know, I was told 2024 is our year. Don't worry, come back. I'm like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when an announcement comes out this year that we're getting something big.
Yeah.
We need something original. Build an original coaster. Don't take something else from another park. Well, unless it's Railblazer, then I'll forgive you and I'll allow
That's
it.
fair.
But
yeah, that's fair.
But anything other than that, make a new coaster, please. We can't keep taking other people's garbage and hoping that it'll work.
But they can, and they will.
I'm sure they will, because Cedar Fair hates us. True.
But in terms of Zambezi Zinger, this is a coaster that could be a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if it's a big success, you know, again, like I said with the Tilt coaster, I think you could see a lot more ground up Titan Track coasters start to pop up. So,
yeah, or even complete rethemes, like complete retracks. Because you know they've only been doing partial retracks in high stress areas, like White Lightning, like Predator. At where is that? That's at Six Flags, isn't it?
Is it? It's not Darien Lake, is it? Maybe it is.
I think so. But yeah, you've seen Titan Track refurbs throughout the area, but they haven't actually done a full scale redo of a coaster. So I mean, if Zambezi Zinger plays out as well as I think it will, I mean, because if it's as well received as RMC's, they'll 100% give Rocky Mountain Construction a run for their money and give people some thoughts about, well, this wooden coaster is it needs to be redone. Are we seeing an RMC or a GCI re-theme?
Yeah, and it changes the game because it gives parks like more freedom. Like, you know, say you have a park that has a wooden coaster and they love the layout of the thing and it's like really great, but it's super rough and it's become really difficult to maintain. That's when GCI can come in and do that retracking, give it Titan Track. You don't have to change the layout. RMC, of course, they're going to come in and completely overhaul everything.
Yeah.
So it gives another option for parks that may not want to get rid of the layout they have, and they might want to keep the classic wooden feel. You know, you take a park like Holiday World that loves their wooden coasters. They love the vibe of the wooden coaster. A park that has a wooden coaster like that and wants to keep that vibe now would have a very viable option with doing a full Titan Track, because you get a smoother experience. you get an easier to maintain experience, but you still get the same vibe of the classic wooden coaster. So
Yeah, because I mean, all Titan Track is just a metal topper. It's
yeah.
it's not like the iBox that you see at with RMC, where yeah, like you said, they have to rip everything out to pretty much put that stuff in. Now, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Nope, it's not. That's not coming to me.
It's gone.
It's gone. It was something about GCI and rethemes. Oh, I remember what it was. And also on with this retheme, with not with this retheme, but with this new coaster, we do get new trains. The official reveal of the GCI Millennium Flyer. Is that what the new one is?
Sounds right.
I think that's the new one, because is it Millennium Flyer?
Maybe that one already exists.
Maybe that was the old one.
See if I can find that information.
I can't remember.
Infinity Flyer.
Infinity Flyer, that's the new one. Yes.
Yeah.
Millennium Flyer is the old one. Infinity Flyer is the new one.
Yep.
So yeah, that's their new train that no longer has the little clicky clack bars. It's now officially magnetic restraints.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yep.
It's their new magnetic restraints. I'm interested to see what wood coasters decide to get those installed over the next couple years. There's a few offhand that I know have Millennium Flyers right now that would definitely benefit of getting Infinity Flyers installed. Lightning Racer being one of them. But my only issue with it is with now going more towards these, but with the magnetic restraints rather than clicky clack or buzz bars, is that you're going to lose those possibilities of airtime because the bars don't go down as far. I know they're more safe, but I mean, you're going to get stapled a lot more nowadays.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how those magnets lock in, because I think of a ride like Velocicoaster, and those have magnetic lap bars, and I've never had a problem getting stapled on that, and I don't have to like do anything to prevent it. So hopefully it goes that route instead. But at the same time, I could definitely see like that first hill, it just comes straight down, and then you're screwed.
Like Sky Rush.
Like Sky Rush.
Thigh crush. Yeah. But let's move on. We got 3 more to talk about. Our next one being a very interesting one. This is, let's see if I can pronounce this correctly. Primordial? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
Primordial
it. Yep.
at Lagoon in Farmington, Utah. This is a coaster that there is not really a lot of information about. It is supposed to be opening this year in 2023. And basically all we know about it is that it is an interactive coaster. There's a big ass mountain that they made for it, and it is entirely built in-house. This isn't built by another manufacturer. This is built by Lagoon. And it is a steel coaster. It's not like your normal, like, oh, okay, this company made their own coaster. It's a wooden coaster. Like, because that's not very far-fetched that companies do that. But this is a steel coaster that is being built entirely in-house by Lagoon. I'm interested. It gives me another reason to go out there other than just Cannibal.
Yep. And Wicked. Give some respect to Wicked.
But yeah, there's not really much we can talk about this one. It's just there's that one picture, boom, right there. That one picture that I was able to find of this mountain with a couple pieces of track sticking out of it.
Yeah. But
other than that, we don't really know much about this coaster. It's very mysterious.
It's definitely one of the most intriguing coasters because of that reason, and it looks like it could be very heavily themed, which is very interesting for a park like Lagoon. So this is when I'm very excited to see the POV whenever that does happen, because who knows when I'm going to get out to Utah. Lagoon is definitely a park I have on my radar though, because Cannibal that's a bucket lister right there.
Oh yeah.
And that's a coaster that was built in-house as well.
Oh really? Was it?
It was. Yeah. So I mean, if they're building a thing like that in house, I have some confidence in them already. So very excited for this. Like you said, it's a total mystery.
Yeah.
I don't know what interactive means. Is it going to be like Wonder Mountain's Guardian or something, like at Canada's Wonderland? Like, is it going to be shooter? Is it going to be like ring? Like, who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows what that means?
But moving on to something that at least sounds more like it would be interactive in a sense. Let's move on to the unnamed family racing coaster at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This was announced officially right after IAAPA. I know it was teased heavily throughout IAAPA. This is a Skyline Attractions coaster, and Skyline Attractions was plastered all over IAAPA this year, showing off their brand new track, showing off their brand new coaster model, being this single rail coaster.
Yeah.
Being the single rail model where it has pretty much these lit LCD panels all throughout this track, and it allows for an amazing nighttime experience. Now this is going to be the first ever single rail racing coaster, and also the first ever racing coaster in the state of Texas.
Wow.
So this is like I said, it's a family coaster, so there isn't much as far as extreme elements in it. It's not very tall, it doesn't go very fast, but I will say there are looking at information about it, it crosses over itself 11 times.
Whoa.
and this is what Skyline Attractions likes to call, as you said, what model is it?
Oh yes, the Pescetti Bowl.
The Pescetti Bowl.
Pescetti Bowl.
The Pescetti Bowl model. That is a very interesting model name for a coaster. And rightfully so. It looks like a bunch of spaghetti in a bowl with this track going everywhere.
I think it's a tire launch, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be a cool little ride. Hopefully it's better than previous Skyline attractions, such as Tidal Twister and the Harley Quinn one that everyone despises. So I'm hoping it's better than those, and I think it will be. It should be.
Those
it looks like
wait, yeah, those are those ones that literally no longer exist, right? They opened up for like a year, and then
is Tidal Twister? I know they closed Harley Quinn. Is Tidal Twister still alive? Let's see. God. I mean, I can't see anywhere that says it's. I mean, it's still on the SeaWorld website.
Okay. Which SeaWorld even is that?
San Diego.
But I see. Here's the funny thing. I've never heard Scott talk about it, so
there might be a reason for that.
There might be a reason, yeah. But yeah, I'm interested. It definitely looks like a cool coaster to look at. The ride experience may be completely different, but it does offer a really cool off-ride experience, just because of those LED LCD panels.
Yeah. And it's a ride I'll get on eventually, because Fiesta Texas is a park I really want to go to. So
yeah, and that's once again one of those Texas parks that I will probably end up getting to this year. All right, we made it. We got one more coaster to talk about, and this is a good one. It's a coaster that finally had its very first POV released. I think that was this week.
Yeah, it's an interesting video. Yeah,
and that is ArieForce One at the coaster powerhouse that is Fun Spot Atlanta, and this is an RMC hybrid.
Yeah.
Take it away, Connor. Talk about this coaster a little bit.
This is weird for a lot of reasons. The name is weird. The location is extremely weird, but it's also exciting because, like, okay, is Fun Spot going to start working with RMC? Like, are we going to get an RMC Raptor at Fun Spot Orlando? That would be nice. So, but it's so exciting, and I'm hoping to get on this year. I'm really trying, and I think there's a good chance I will. In October, I want to hit up Georgia because there is Six Flags Over Georgia. I also really want to go to Netherworld. So combine those two, and then maybe on the way out of town, I can hit up ArieForce One, or on the way into town, one of the two. I don't believe there's another coaster in Fun Spot Atlanta. And if there is, it's like a kiddie coaster.
Yeah, probably. It's just a kiddie coaster.
So like, I'm just so flabbergasted that like a ground up RMC hybrid, or not even a hybrid, I think it's just a steel iBox, bottom line is it's a ground up RMC iBox for Fun Spot Atlanta. Like, no, I don't think anyone saw this coming, but the ride looks amazing. Like, the layout looks incredible. It looks like there's so much airtime, and I can't wait. And it's also weird because Six Flags Over Georgia has an RMC hybrid already. So now that's two within, I don't know how far apart the two parks are, but like in the same state. So it's weird. It's so weird.
That dive loop off the hill looks insane.
And also like all those airtime hills in the second part of the layout, it just never stops. So yeah, I mean, I'm very excited about this, and like I said, I'm really hoping that I'll be able to go get on this this year.
Yeah. Well, if I get down there and end up moving down to Florida, I may try to tag along with you for that.
There you go, jet on up to Georgia.
I might try to jet up on up to Georgia with you for that one.
Yeah, that'd be fun because I mean, Six Flags Over Georgia has a few bangers too that I'm trying to experience. So, yeah, it'd be a fun time.
All right, so out of our entire list, we finally finished talking about all 16 coasters. Out of this list, give me like a top 3 of ones you're most excited for to come this year.
Wow. Well, we do have 2 givens, and that's gonna be Wildcat's Revenge and ArieForce One. I kind of feel inclined to mention Zambezi Zinger, although I know for sure that I won't be getting on it this year. If we're talking about stuff I am getting on, I definitely want to mention the MonteZOOMa reimagining. So I'm gonna go with those 3, just because those 3 there's a good shot that I'll be getting on. Obviously Wildcat, it depends on when that ride opens, but let's say for the sake of argument that honestly, even if I don't get there this year, it just looks so good that I'm excited for it anyway. So I think those are the 3 I'm going to take.
The 3 that I'm thinking of, Wildcat, of course, it's going to be on there. I'm going to say Circuit Breaker over ArieForce One.
Forgot about Circuit Breaker. Damn.
And then I'll probably go with that's tough, man. Honestly, probably Zambezi Zinger, just because of just the newness of the model with that manufacturer is what's making it more interesting to me than putting ArieForce One on that. But ArieForce One is definitely at 4 if I had to add an honorable mention. I mean, even some of the ones like the Pescetti Bowl, like that's
just
something
to see what it's like,
just to see what it's like and what it looks like at night. I mean, that's even something that I would be excited about.
I do also, I mean, there's so many good ones, but I have to give a shout out to Pipeline too, just to see if they manage to make that stand-up coaster model more viable. Just that alone makes it very intriguing. I think I'm gonna remove MonteZOOMa and throw Circuit Breaker in there because I'm so excited to see what, I know I won't get on it this year, but I'm so excited to see what the people, like, how they respond to that and how successful it is, and just excited to see what Coderland looks like when it opens. So yeah, but there's a lot of good ones to choose from for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big year of coasters. It looks like we said earlier, it's the year of pretty much the family coaster.
But then you got your backers.
Slash pretty much like the Vekoma takeover this year.
Yeah.
New model Vekomas. There's a lot of
And
new
it's
model
like-
Vekomas this year.
And it's like, there's a lot of new Vekomas, but like, I want one of those like thrill machine Vekomas that we're seeing over in like, across the pond. So eventually a park is going to get one. Not this year, but eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what park pulls the trigger on it. Obviously, Vekoma is getting a lot of looks. Maybe not for those thrill models yet, but there's obviously working relationships with Vekoma in a lot of these parks. So very exciting for sure.
Speaking about coasters that I'm waiting for a park to pull the trigger on. When are we getting that? What is it? It's SNS, isn't it? What's it called?
Oh, the Axis.
The Axis. Yes.
The Axis. Who knows?
Who's gonna be the first people to pull the freaking trigger on that?
I don't know.
I want an Axis.
I want an Axis too. I don't know.
SeaWorld Orlando, get us an Axis coaster.
Hey, I'll take that.
You'd be weirdos enough to get one.
But it's not made by B&M, so I don't know if they'll...
You know what? Fun Spot Orlando.
There you go. Fun Spot Orlando. I mean, we'll take it 100%. But yeah, no, definitely a lot of good stuff. This is just before we end it, if you could put any type of coaster anywhere, what would it be for 2024? Where would you put anything? Maybe keep it like slightly, don't say like I don't know, an intimate multi-launch like Velocicoaster at Dorney Park. but
that's not exactly where I was going. But like, it's still gonna be Dorney Park, and it's still gonna be Dorney Park is where I'm putting it. Is where I'm putting this. I want a T-Rex at Dorney Park.
Ooh.
I want an RMC T-Rex at Dorney Park, and I want it now. Put it in the giant freaking plot of land where Dinosaurs Alive was, right next to Steel Force.
I mean, it's a T-Rex. It writes itself.
Exactly. Please throw it in there. I am begging you. Be the first park. Pull the trigger. Do it.
For me, I just want to put it out into the universe in a video. Well, I've done it before, but I want to do it again because I want to speak this into existence. And that is a Giga at Busch Gardens, Tampa. I've been trying to manifest this. We can knock down Kumba. I don't care. Just destroy it and just give us a Giga. Because I mean, listen, man. Then we'd have a RMC hybrid, a Giga, what is quite possibly the best B&M invert. You have Cheetah Hunt. You have, I like Tigers. I like Tigers personally. I like the Skyrocket 2. Say what you will, I like the Skyrocket 2. You have Sheikra. Man, give me a Giga coaster at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, please. Please.
I mean, Skyrocket 2s are good where they need to be. I mean,
they take up very little space and they're a fun ride. I
mean, if I was talking like complete seriousness of what I actually could see Dorney Park getting, that would probably be the thing that I could see them getting.
Skyrocket 2.
Skyrocket 2. But T-Rex is better.
T-Rex is better than a Skyrocket 2. I will give you that.
All right. Well, let's wrap up this podcast. It's as always we always go over, and I'm sure all of you have probably left by now. But if you have stuck along with us until the very end, leave your comment down below what your top 3 most excited coasters are for this year. I'd love to hear it down below. And what do you? Once again, we'll put it out to you guys as well. Dream coaster addition to any park that you want for 2024 or whatever the upcoming year it may be. Love to know down below. And also, while you're at it, drop us a like if you did enjoy this video. Once again, follow Connor on his social media and his channel. Follow me here and all over the place. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us here. As always, I'm Michael from Hallowed Thrills, giving you the all clear, and all clear means you're out of here. See you guys next time.